Okay, good. All right. Welcome, people, to another great episode of Transformed and Renewed. I hope that y'all are doing good today because I'm feeling good. I hope that you're doing the same way. And so um, we're just getting right into it. Great week. I hope so. If not, that's all it's going to change because we are not going to go into the weekend, taking this past week negativity. We ain't going to do that. So we just going to brush that off, keep it moving, smile, show them pearly whites. And if they're not white, let's take care of that, with a toothbrush and toothpaste. But, let's keep it moving. So today I want to give you just 3 tips on how you can really transform your nutrition lifestyle. And for me, this has been a journey because, I can say that I grew up, with the best habits, nutritionally speaking. And I think for a lot of us, a lot of factors can affect how well we eat, considering a lot of ads, commercials, TV, even our peers, whether it's friends, acquaintances, coworkers, different people that we meet, or even just culture, um, seeing different cultures and, wanting to try so many different things and have that type of live life to the fullest, type of mentality. Nothing wrong with that. But we also have to make sure that we are taking care of business because let's say that you may say, well, I just like to live life to the fullest. But let's say perhaps that you end up, let's say if you're like 20, 30, and you end up living, I don't know, 50 plus years. And yes, it's a blessing to live up into your 70s, 80s, even, in your 90s or beyond that, Lord willing. But even while you're living at uh, those ages, how do you want to be able to function, operate? Do you want to always be in pain or do you want to, feel just as young as you are right now? And for me, as I think about that, one of the things that I implement, and this would be tip number one, is really thinking about the future. So, eating to live for the future. And again, I know sometimes that it can be so tempting to try out so many different foods and just really get so immersed into really saying, man, like I really love this cheeseburger or this hot dog or these fries. Oh, they look so good, and nothing wrong with that. But you also have to think about how often are you doing that, because while again it may taste good in your mouth, in your palate, you have to realize that the food actually goes through your body, through your digestive system. And that's where you may not be able to see everything. And if you were to see it, it probably look gruesome. It probably look like horror movie up in there. But I will share that, when we eat, it's important for us to consider how could it affect the inside of your body. And with those same habits, how could it affect me over time? So let's say that whatever age you're at now, fast forward 10, 15, even 20 years, will your body still be able to operate the same? Are you still going to be able to do certain things like mobility wise? Are your joints going to stiffen up? You have issues with your kidneys, your gallbladder, your intestines, your esophagus, any of those things. And that's what, I want us to really consider, if we really want to improve, our nutritional aspect is really focusing on eating for the future. And the second tip, which will actually accompany the first tip, eating for the future, is really stocking up. And I'm sure you probably heard this over and over again, but on your fruits and vegetables. And if your body's able to tolerate whole grains and beans, these are going to be the central core groups. Meats, nothing wrong with meats. I know for me, one thing I've learned is just really how different meats can be handled, processed in the from farm to table, or even from farm to the grocery store, then before it gets to your table. So I'm always conscious of that. Whatever I put into my body, really making sure that if if I put it inside my body, it's not going to create adverse reactions in my body over time. And again, that's something that I want you to really consider, as we continue to go through our sessions. These are meant to really give you just insight and to really start thinking, you know, not too differently, but really just thinking about some things that you may not have thought of. So, really, going back to the first one is eating to live for the future. And not only to live for the future, but to be able to operate to your maximum capability. I can't say that, what tomorrow will look like, but I always say, but if I'm still here, I want to make sure that I'm at my best and I'm not, a young individual limping over or, I'm tired every time I walk. For me, I don't want to do that. And I want to be able to just do some things, without having to think. I just keep just back and forth like that. And so, and I'm sure you want the same thing. And so, hopefully, these tips, you can take them into consideration and even apply them. Feel free to apply them, because again, at the end of the day, I want you to be at your best. Okay, the second thing, like I said, is eating more fruits and vegetables. I've learned just taking a mental survey, or not a mental, but just a kind of like an eye survey. And when I say eye survey, it's like the things that I see, and when I actually think about it, I'm like, man, okay, this is like reality. Like if you ever stop sometimes and you really look at the situations around you, or you really start to focus on a lot of things, you'll actually find that sometimes you won't even have to go out to even search. A lot of times you can just even look in your own surroundings and you can take like research. And I found that to be like amazing. But as I looked around and I've taken notice on like videos I've seen on social media, or just even like anywhere I go, it's usually like heavy emphasis on a lot of foods that are rich and that tend to like satisfy your palate, a lot of flavor. And usually with flavor, there's like sugar, sweetness, there can be saltiness, so a lot of sodium. And then there can also be like just a rich, creamy flavor. And this is, could typically be associated with like a lot of oils. And when I really think about it, if I'm eating a lot of that, those foods, or that's what I typically like to eat, even if it's not every day, but if it's every other day, am I also getting the foods that I know, again, and I go back to Genesis 1, where it talks about how God gave everything that was green in the seed. I know I'm paraphrasing it, but in Genesis 1, this is where God gave man the seed, and from the seed, everything that was green, man could eat. And so when I think about that, I think about fruits and vegetables and anything that is planted from the ground that is beneficial towards, man's nutrition. I think about that, and it makes me realize, okay, if God said, okay, and this seed is for me to eat, then that must means that there's a lot of benefits, even though I can't see like the benefits jumping out, but I know that, and because I also look at the science behind things, I can say, okay, it's not that I live by the science, but I can at least look at the science and see, okay, what has been repeated over and over again. And I can say, okay, if this is what it is in terms of, these fruits and vegetables, or even other plant, products from the ground, then it's up to me to really like, use that knowledge and apply it, in such a way to where it can benefit me and also others around me. And so that's kind of how I look at it. I always do research and just always looking to see what would work best for me, as well as prayer. That's something that I do. When I find out new information, I pray about it. I be like, I'm usually like, Lord, okay, is this something that, you see me doing, or should I, engage in based on what I've read? And for me, it's kind of been working. So I've really been getting more fruits and vegetables. And I tell you, it's amazing to make sure that you're taking care of business, by really getting more of those foods that are really going to treat your immune system well in your digestive tract and just your whole body overall. A lot of things I've learned and like how different foods can be associated with brain function, with just your mobility, your DNA, gene expression. Yeah, it's a lot that a lot of people don't realize how your cognitive behavior can be affected by the foods that you do eat, or they can be negatively affected by the foods that you don't eat, as well as foods that you shouldn't consume that are impairing, different functions in your body, what they call neurotransmitters, in your body. So, for me, like I said, as I do the research, I want to share it with you because I want you to be informed about the things that can really make a difference in your life, reversing diseases, or helping to prevent diseases. Could, as I've read, has been shown to be linked to like a lifestyle, behaviors, and one being, nutrition, the other one being diet, and the other one is just being the environment, that we live in. So whether it's like skincare, um, creams, or just things we apply to ourselves, um, fresheners, cleaners, you know, these are different things that can also affect our bodies. But not to get off topic. So again, heavy emphasis on getting those fruits and vegetables. Yes, so if you haven't gotten consumption of your fruits and vegetables, it's recommended that I know that in the FDA, it states that I believe anywhere from 3 to 4 servings. I know for a while it was like 2 to 3 servings, but after doing some research, that's definitely low. You can actually double that, if not triple that amount daily. So, instead of getting like 2 to 3 servings, you can boost that up to like 4 or probably like 5 to 7 servings. Because at the end of the day, the more fruits and vegetables you're getting, these are really going to like help, continue to regulate good activity in your body. Okay. So that's another tip. Third tip is, make sure, of course, that you are, staying hydrated. And I know different people like to drink different drinks, whether it's diet, drinks that may contain sweeteners, like, and I'm not gonna compliment on it because I know, you know, not to tell any business on my wife, but I know she likes to drink certain drinks. But I will say it's important to get water itself in its natural form. And you can also, spruce it up a little bit if you want to add some carbonation to it. You can have like a soda stream or something to add carbonation to it, like sparkling water. And you can even add some whole fruits to it. So whether you want to add like a lemon, citrus, spruce it up. You can even do like tea without the sugar, or even coffee black without the sugar. I know some people like to do the cream, but um, more story is getting more water intake because this is going to help, like, with just your dehydration and just with um, your bone function. Your bones are not stiff because, the more you have water, it continues to regulate a lot of functions in your body that you may not be aware of. And so that's why, you know, recommendations that you may see may say, oh, it's important for you to drink 8 ounces, 8 glasses of water a day. And I would say that varies, from person to person, depending on whether you are a lean individual for your height or for your BMI, like your age and your height and your weight. And it can vary. So, you know, more could be applied if you're not getting a lot, and less can be applied if you are getting the amount of water that you need. Typically, for me, I aim for like 6 glasses a day. Sometimes it may come in the form of like water bottles, so that can translate to like 4 to 8, in any given day. And usually I'm thinking about, okay, how can I improve this? So if I only did like 5 1 day, I could say, okay, well, if I got 5 this day, then let me see if I can, let me bump this up, to 7 or 8 this day. And so it's just for me like a mental check, at the end of each day. How did I do the following day or just this day? and what can we do differently going into the next day. And so that's also a bonus tip is, really taking a mental check of how you did, at the end of each day. Now, some people may do it um, at the end of each week, but for me, I just like to do it at the end of each day. And at the end of each week, I can say, okay, I did it this way, and I can see, okay, this is how well I did. And, I can always, make improvements. So I can say, okay, we doing it. We stand on track and we're just sticking with the game plan to really, keep up this momentum. And so didn't want to be too long, but I just wanted to share these tips with you because, again, I do want to see you at your best. And I hope that these tips have really given you some encouragement that you can take with you and really start to transform your nutrition lifestyle. And so, family, I'm excited just to be joining you today. And again, if you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to Robody 1212. Yep, that is right. Robody 1212. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you want to, share it. We appreciate the love. And then also make sure you go to our website at robody.org. That is robody.org. Sign up for our emails because I'm sending out some good emails, ones that are just full of information that you can use and information that you may not ever even heard of, but I want to share with you. And so make sure you do that. Sign up for our email list as well as sign up to our social media. That way you can stay in the loop with some great things that we're doing. And I promise you, family, this time next year we're going to be doing a lot more great things, and even in the months to come. So I want you to stick around because it's just going to continue to get better, okay? So hope that you can take this information with you, apply it best way you see fit. And any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. Look forward to hearing from you, family. And make sure that you enjoy the rest of this week on purpose. I'll talk to you later, family.